Hello, this is High Priestess Jamila, and I am actually somehow doing this in reverse. I wanted to make a video for you guys who are clients who are going through the process of taking back your soul, taking back your destiny, taking yourself back, right? And so how this occurs. And like I said, I'm kind of doing this in reverse. So basically what happens is that there are certain initiatives, there are certain things that are happening to spiritual people, okay? Depending on your gifts, your talents, and who you are. It could be some kind of spiritual gift. It could be a gift that you have as simply as manifesting money. There are a lot of people that take for granted the ability to be able to go out and interview for a job and get hired. A lot of people think that everybody can do that. Well, guess what? Everybody can't do that. That simple thing that we take for granted, there's a lot of people that they can't do that, okay? Let alone start a business and become an entrepreneur and be successful at it. So, that is considered to be a gift, even though I feel like it's a spiritual gift. It comes from within you. It has a lot to do with your power, your personal power, your destiny. And believe it or not, there are people out there that cannot manifest what you've manifested, and they want that gift or that talent. And so there's that dynamic. And then there's also the dynamic of group feeding. Some of you guys that I've encountered, and I've even went through this myself, a lot of you guys are going through currently right now where there are several people that want to be you. Like some of y'all have hundreds of people that they desire to switch places with you. And they're almost fighting over you like you are a juicy bone. It's very weird. But it's exhausting for the person. They are trying to do this spiritually. They are doing rituals that they're getting maybe 1% or 2% of your essence. However, what it leads to is you being kind of lost in transition and my spirit guides do not agree with doing this. They believe in everybody being able to develop their own personal powers. Okay. But there's a lot of people that are not patient enough to do that. And the next thing you know, you have someone that's literally trying to steal your spiritual, physical, mental, psychological identity, financial identity. And the next thing you know, you're feeling like not yourself. So this video is actually, though, talking about after you have become a client. Typically, if you're in this position, a lot of people want to become students, especially when it comes to shamanism, because I believe that shamanism is top notch. Knowing knowledge of shamanism is top notch when it comes to alleviating and fixing this problem and healing from the situation and moving on and never having to think about it again. So this is for you clients that have either purchased the ritual, which is on the website. The ritual is the ultimate vampire banishment, soul retrieval, reclaim energy and destiny, okay, is what it is on the website. This is going to be for those of you who are getting the work done, and these are going to be signs that it is working, okay, that your ritual has started working, which is typically immediately, depending on the severity of the situation, because believe it or not, there are some people out there that will try to switch places with you And those people may have physical or mental ailments. Okay. And so what you will experience, because if you think about it, you probably experience this a lot during the process of being separated from oneself. Okay. So you probably started experiencing these symptoms or worse or similar symptoms. The symptoms that you may have, the feelings that you may have as your mind, body, and spirit and essence and self is coming back together and grounding itself in your body is much different. It's way different. But the feeling that you get can be, sometimes it can feel weird. It can feel scary when you are returning to yourself. Okay. It almost feels like being, it almost feels like being like on a spaceship going 300-400 miles per hour. It can sometimes be very overwhelming. Some of the symptoms that you're going to have to let you know that it's working: feelings of being hot and cold. 1 minute you may be hot, the next minute you may be cold. This is typically because this is one of the top symptoms that you'll start to have, because it's the reintegration process. Okay. And you may have itchy hands, itchy feet. You may have to urinate a lot. Now, frequent urination can either be caused by pregnancy or other perceived health problems. But at some point during the ritual, you may pee a lot. You may do the number 2 a lot. Okay. Or if you are a woman and you're having a menstrual cycle, you may have these huge blood clots with your period. Okay. Headaches are common. Okay. Well, they're not as common. I know that I didn't experience that, headaches. I don't really get headaches, but some people will. Aura migraines is one thing that you may get, which can be really scary for some people. Also, a huge one is feeling just a little unbalanced, because your mind, your body, and your spirit, because what was happening to you definitely affected your body, which is why it is so horrible for people to do that. There are some people that do it subconsciously, and they don't even realize that they're doing it. But there are some people that know full well that they're doing it, and they are hurting another human being, and they don't even have to be. So you may feel a little imbalanced, or maybe even feel like you kind of are lost, like you don't know where you're at. Like it's almost like you can feel that separation between yourself and yourself, and it just kind of feels off. Okay. It just kind of feels off. And so that is because it's a shift that's happening. And when you're going through that shift, it's best to just ground yourself. Now, for a lot of my clients, I do give you guys grounding techniques, but it really, really takes paying attention and some time alone. Okay. You want to spend some time alone to where you are reconnecting with yourself. Now, what comes also along with these symptoms is you'll start to see yourself come back. Talents that you had previously that you lost will start to come back. And so this is one of the reasons why I am accredited, because of my clients. And the clients that I see, they will let other people know, like, hey, she knows what she's doing. So basically, like, for example, if you used to have the ability to dance or the ability to sing or the ability to write, what you'll notice is that those gifts will start coming back. Some people have been through it to the point where it's pretty severe. It can get pretty severe, especially depending on how long it's been happening to you. But basically, as those things start to come back, those symptoms will come on. The main aspect of it is sometimes feeling as though you're floating. And if you ever feel like you're floating or you get that sick, nauseous feeling, it's more than likely because that person or persons that tried to take you is trying to get you back. They're trying to trap you again. They're trying to connect to your energy again. Now, one other thing I can tell you, it's very confusing as to why these people do what they do. It's kind of preposterous. A lot of them claim that they know witchcraft. And of course, I'm not going to give away the secrets of the witchcraft and source. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Because I don't have to. But it's unbeknownst to us that know what we're talking about, why they would connect to a person for energy or for a source and not the moon and not the sun. I think that what they do, because people like that think differently, okay? They think differently. So they're probably judging the distance of the moon, the distance of the sun, and thinking, well, it's going to take too long to connect, and I want to connect with some energy right now. I want to connect to some power right now, and this person is either 100 miles away from me or 1,000 miles away from me, and it'll be easier. And it's not, because they really, 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 they end up getting in a lot of trouble for that. And so that's why it's being discouraged for people to do that, okay? And it's getting more and more difficult for them to be accepted in what they're doing, because a lot of people have gotten involved with stuff like that and regretted it immensely. Do not do that. You can, there's all sorts of rituals that I offer. One of them is the chakra realignment, pretty much. And what the chakra realignment does is it connects you to source, and you'll notice that you'll start to manifest very quickly. In particular, if you use certain spirits, because what I've figured out and accepted, and what a lot of people need to accept, is that the spirits of the Goetia are connected to the earth, and they are connected to shamanism. A lot of people don't want to admit to that, but it is what it is, okay? And so, you know, and so it depends on how you're doing it. Now, you can use earthly spirits, Gaia, certain spirits of trees, certain spirits of the dirt. But I still feel like what's mixed up in there in the herbs, unfortunately, for a lot of you guys that don't want to accept this, you're going to find yourself very lost, is that a lot of the herbs, a lot of what we see on earth in nature that do heal us and provide us with the energy, the defense, the protection, they are connected to spirits that are considered to be demons that y'all are told to go nowhere anywhere near and to be afraid of. So, you know, it's kind of difficult for a lot of people to grasp the concept. So anyway, moving on. Another kind of perplexing symptom is the feeling of anxiety, and that can be very scary for people. Sometimes anxiety can happen when you are reintegrating or reuniting with yourself, and it's typically not severe anxiety, but sometimes it can be, but it's like a low grade type of nagging type of feeling. And there are suggestions that I have for that, because basically what is happening is that at the same time that, like I said, you're reuniting, you're getting yourself back. They are feverishly trying to pull you back. And it's very bizarre, but it's understandable that people would act like that. And typically the way that they do it is by talking about you. It's almost like you're their Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You know how they say if one or more people is in a room and they're talking about Jesus, his presence is there. Well, they're actually doing this with people. Okay. And when they're sitting around and they're talking about you and they're obsessing over you, they're either intentionally or unintentionally hijacking you. Okay. Especially if they're talking about you in a certain way. Okay. So a lot of the times what will happen is that you'll get kind of winded. You'll get wheezy. And what's encouraged is breathing techniques at that point. Okay. Now keep in mind that when I am helping my clients with this, they do have access to me. You guys are able to text me or call me, and I will help you through that, because that is a very difficult process, and to protect my reputation as well as to give you guys the best, so that you're not having to repeat that ritual every year, which, depending on the situation, sometimes that ritual has to be repeated every year. And the reason why is because you're probably not following instructions. You cannot communicate with the people that you know are behind it. And it doesn't matter who it is. If that person is participating, the communication needs to be cut off. If there is some kind of communication, you have to have certain things going, okay? You have to wear certain protective jewelry, like a pentacle or even a pentagram, okay? Sometimes even a crescent moon symbolism, but the best is going to be the pentagram or the pentacle, which is the star with the circle around it, okay? Because there is a difference. The pentagram is just the star, but the circle around it is very important, okay? So that's the actual pentacle. And then also you have to believe, okay? There are so many people that are going to try to convince you that, those witches are full of crap. Well, some of them are, but, when you're speaking my language, this is what a lot of people have a deeper level of understanding, which is why people from all over the world come to me for spiritual work. And I've been doing this for 10 years, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. The only difference is that my spirits wanted me to look deeper, and so I learned the actual spiritual, metaphysical process of what is happening and what's going on. And I love the fact that they taught me that, okay? And so anyway, you may feel a little dizzy sometimes. Now, dizziness is one of the signs of that you will get when you're being hijacked. So it's like an energy shift. It's almost like you're one place at one moment, and then you feel this turnaround and you're somewhere else. And depending on the circumstances, depending on how you feel, depending on what's happening, if it's if it's wrong or indifferent, then you just got hijacked. Hijacking and trapping of spirits, of people's spirits is very common. And it's not just about hijacking your spirit. It's about completely moving you to a different reality, even though you can be sitting in the same spot. So it's almost like, think about a veil. If there was a veil put up and you were sitting there and a veil was sitting in front of you, and somebody did that to you, now you've went through the veil, and even though you're sitting in the same exact spot, you're still in another realm. You're still trapped, okay? So, that understanding is something that can be challenging for my students to understand that, but eventually you will understand it, like what exactly is up with the mystic. And it's not about hating witchcraft. It's not about that, because this can be done with a lot of different religious faiths. It's all about the spirits. It's all about the person's intention. Okay. Sometimes you may have burning eyes. Your nose will get kind of stuffy, or you'll start to clear out. Things will start to clear out. Things will start to clear out your lungs. It feels like your chest is breathing very deep. And then a lot of you guys, usually within, I would say, about 3 days to a week after I complete the ritual, you find yourself in this very peaceful, serene, and tranquil place within yourself. And a lot of my clients that find that place, boy, they want to keep it. So you find yourself in this place, and you're sitting there, and you're like, oh my God. And you feel bubbly, and you feel tingly, and you feel good. And they do want to snatch you back. They do. And I see a lot of church members doing that too. And the jury is still out. For me, I feel that if it depends on how you look at some of the verses in the Bible. To me, some of the verses in the Bible, as far as with religious people, do point directly at that. And some people do use the Bible to pull that off. Okay. So just FYI, but it ain't always that, because there are some witches and warlocks that do that too. So it's not just the Bible. Okay. I think that witches and warlocks that do it, however, because as a witch that knows about a lot of this stuff, I can do it, okay? I can actually pull somebody into a reality and trap them there. What I think is when you'll probably get dinged is when you're doing it unethically. Someone that is a danger to themselves, or more importantly, someone else, I can pull rank and trap them at any moment if I want. So that they won't hurt or harm themselves or someone else. Okay. So I only do it for ethical purposes. I don't do it because of frap and frivolous reasons. No, I do it because when it counts, when somebody's trying to do harm, or somebody's trying to do something that's going to cause great harm to people, because there honestly are people, that are out there that are just pretty much innocent victims, and even if they had a bad, terrible past life, they're still kind of ignorant to what's happening, and they're pretty much moving about not knowing what's going on, but in reality this is happening to you, and you're just trying to live your life, take care of your responsibilities. So a person that's doing something like that, that just wants to mess with you because something that, because they're greedy, or they want a soul, or they want your energy, or they want your talent. To me, that person is not a good person. To me, that person deserves it. Okay. And you deserve to be set free of that. So, it's all about how you look at it. For me, even though they say I'm the bad guy, I'm actually the good guy. What we found out is that a lot of the bad guys that they told us was bad was actually good. Isn't that funny? Anyway, so you are going to experience these symptoms while you are adjusting. And yes, they are going to try to pull you back in. What you need to understand, and don't think anything different, it doesn't matter the glamour that they try to do when it comes to us real practitioners, authentic. It does not matter. Okay? You are getting the best protection and defense. Okay, you are getting some of the best. Okay, what I use for protection: sulfur, kosher salt, mandrake root, also, like, these are certain things that people have a fear of, especially the mandrake root. And so, so you're getting the best, and you're getting expert care. And so, yeah, what you'll notice is that you will have those things, but sometimes, here's another symptom. Sometimes you might get a little tired, and that's because you need to rest. That's because you need to rest. Your body is healing, and you're being protected, okay? Because you're being put in a place where you can go ahead and reintegrate with yourself. You're being put in that place by my spirit guides, who guide me to actually, not only spiritually, etherically, metaphysically, as well as physically, we will put you in a place where you can heal and where you can integrate with yourself, okay? So you may be a little tired. And the reason why people, when they're healing, are resistant to being tired, or not just tired, you just need sleep. Okay? You need a little bit of sleep, is because when they first got hijacked, it caused them to be asleep. And they woke up and their world was different, and they were losing. They began to lose at life. They began to lose everything. They began to lose themselves. And so when your body is getting rest that it needs, then you get scared, and don't get scared of that. If you are concerned, you can always text me, and, I'll look at it. And, when you text me, you're not just talking to me, you're talking to my spirits. And so I still have to remind myself of that, because sometimes when y'all contact me, I can literally sense the energy behind you pulling on you and grabbing at you. I can literally sense it. And, my spirits are like, it's okay, we got it. Of course, I do have to call to them. And then in order to do certain things, work has to be done. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. And it's what I do for a living, full time. So anywho, I hope that this helps you guys that are going through this process. It is going to be okay. I promise. I told y'all, don't worry. I got y'all. Okay? No matter how scary they try to make it seem, no matter how they try to discredit me, it doesn't matter. Okay? It's going to be okay. Trust me, because I've been through it myself. All right, guys, make sure that you guys hit that thumbs up and then share this video. And then also, if you guys are having this problem, I am going to make a video on symptoms, signs and symptoms that you've been spiritually and metaphysically hijacked, and that you're not living in the reality that you're supposed to be. Okay? And even some of the tarot cards tell us that, depending on how they fall in the deck. Okay? All right, stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys later.